What's crapping in? We made it to another episode of the AAPI month. What's up, everybody?
Hey!
I know, exciting. probably too much excitement for Bernard over there. He's just
Party time!
That's right. That's right. Best time to wake up. It's 10 after 10 p.m. here. So yeah, we're right on track. Yeah, we're gonna wait for some more people popping in here. Until then, we're gonna go introduce ourselves. We're just gonna go around the block. Sup, K-pop, what's happening? I do interviews and I harass people for a living. That's what I do. So hi. Cool. We got our co-host for the even. Oh no, what I do? Oh shoot, what is
Yeah,
happening? There we
what
go.
happened?
Ramen. I I don't know.
I run a channel called A Comic Book Worm, not a B Comic Book Worm, A Comic Book Worm, not D, A Comic Book Worm. And every year we've been doing this. This is, I think, our fourth year celebrating AAPI. And I understand that you guys are celebrating AAPI this year, Monkey King event. So I'm really looking forward to what's going on that one. And
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. Let's go to the next.
The next person. All right, first time. I don't know why does it keep making everything full screen. I don't know what's happening. Listen, we are just pro sauce here. It's fantastic. First time making it here. Wait, I want to let me drag you over there. There you
There you
go,
go.
Jerry. What's
Hey,
happening? Happy holidays.
Hey
What's up?
everybody. Yes, my name is Jerry Ma. I do some drawings and some graphic design, and yeah, I'm lucky enough that I suckered Sean and Bernard into doing this art show with me. So yeah, pretty cool.
It looks fantastic. You got a really good lineup of artists on here. I'm a fan of pretty much everybody I've known on there. Some new artists too that I haven't seen. So this is very cool, very exciting.
Yeah, no, on Kane's side, it really did start with suckering Sean and Bernard to do it. Because once I was able to tell people that Sean Chen and Bernard Chang are involved,
Yeah.
you know, the show gets taken a little bit more seriously than if it was just me. So having them aboard really did help wheel going.
So that's good. I'm very excited because this is gonna be all month long. So it's currently happening until the 31st, and then
Well,
I
so,
saw one is August, right?
yeah, so it's a two-part show. It's at Chelsea Market for the month of May for Asian Heritage Month, and then at the Pearl River store in Soho. It's
Oh,
up
okay.
until August 24th. And the
Nice.
difference between the two shows is that at Chelsea Market, there's an outdoor dining area. So for like 4 blocks, all the tables have all our artwork on them. And then inside Chelsea Market itself, we only have our Monkey King pieces hanging there. But Sean's, Bernard's, and mine in particular are on large scale. And then we've got everyone else's hung up in frames. If you go to the Pearl River store in Chinatown / Soho, you will see not only our Monkey King pieces, but uh, everyone's existing work as well. So it's more of a gallery setup there.
Ooh, cool. What's going on with Twitter today? But yeah, I'm dropping the links, the link and the addresses for the Pearl River and the Chelsea Market, so you guys can go check that out. Because I know there's a bunch of people in the area that might want to go check that out. So there you go. So drop that down in there. So that's fun. That's exciting. I very much look forward to that. And I'm gonna go with Sean next because Bernard looks like he's still waking up. So boom. Hey Sean.
Hey, I'm Sean Chen, 30-year veteran in the comic book industry. So I'm most known for Iron Man. Did some X-Men, did a little bit of stuff for DC, some Avengers stuff. Right now I'm doing my creator-owned book for 24/7 Comics called Evermind. So we're going to be launching the second half of that book later in the summer. So yeah, it's great to be back here. I think is this my third time or is it my second time?
This might be your third
Yeah.
time because I had you on before for Evermind, and then we did the AAPI. So I think this might be your third time here.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And so yeah, I know you're giving a lot of love to the 24/7 comic. I remember Chris was on not too long ago, and also did I see Carl Choi on here also?
We did. I got Carl to come on. Yeah,
Very
we
cool.
brought him on for AAPI, which was exciting. So yeah, he's fun to chat with. Before I get to Bernard, I'm gonna add Otaku to the stage. Hey Otaku, what's going on? How are you?
Hi everyone. Sorry I'm a little late. But hi again, Sean. Hi again, Bernard. Nice to meet you, Jerry.
What's going on, dude?
Very nice. Oh, like the Santa mug. Let's go. All right. I'll bring up Bernard. Hi, Bernard. Oh,
You did? Okay.
Hello.
hi. How
Intro.
are you doing?
Oh, well, good morning. I'm over
Good
in,
morning.
I'm overseas today, so the hours are flipped. And thank you for having me.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
having us. It's always fun to jump on K-pop, and I think it's been like 4 years, 3 or 4 years, since we've known each other since we started streaming, and great to meet everybody here again. So
Yeah, it's a good time.
Great. Great.
Let's very fun. And then Otaku popped in at the end. So Otaku, it's your turn. It's Rose.
Yeah, great to connect with everyone again, and just thank you for having me as part of this conversation.
Perfect. Yeah, we're gonna get into your event in a minute. I have the link down here for that article that you sent me about the Chelsea market. It has all the prints available because you can buy the prints for these. You can buy them framed and unframed depending on the location that you're at, which are very cool. And I like this. So it has a lot to do with the Monkey King. So let me pull you back to Jerry, and then you can explain. Oh no, why does it keep making my stuff full screen? It's exactly what this event is all about. Let's get into this.
Exactly. Sorry, what was the question? Exactly what?
Yeah, like describe the Monkey King event because it's all month long for the month of May, and then you're just doing all kinds of Monkey King art. But yeah, explain a little bit
Well,
more.
how it came to be.
Yeah.
So back in I want to say like summer of 2019, I was eating lunch with my friend Eunice, and she's like she's one of the heads for like the Asian American International Film Festival here in New York. And I forget how it came up in conversation, but like I was just telling her how like I loved Pearl River growing up, like going to school and college in New York, and I used to always go there to just find like cool art. This is before like the internet and everything, you know. So I
Yeah.
used to always go there to find like cool stuff that I could use in my artwork, and I always hoped that maybe I could like partner up with Pearl River to do something. And she was just like Pearl River, and then she just made a quick text, and then the following week I had a meeting with Joanne from Pearl River, and I had an art show there in January of 2020, which was like the one thing I got to do in 2020 before the lockdown. And it was about so it was just an art show of whatever I wanted to do, and I just made the Monkey King in Chinatown today. And at that art show, everyone's bugging me like, oh, why don't you do a comic? And this is back when like real life is going on. I had a job and all that stuff, so I was like, oh well, maybe one day if I have the time, And then the lockdown happens and all that stuff. I had the time, so I made the book. Did a Kickstarter for it, because of all the racism against Asians. Gave some money back to Chinatown, all that feel good stuff. And then after the book was done, just kind of sat on it for a little while. Went back to real life. Fast forward to a couple of years later, the Monkey King is now picked up by the Lab Press to do as a creator-owned graphic novel, which I'm pretty psyched about. And then I want to say sometime early last year, Angela and Joanne from Pearl River asked me if I wanted to do a group comic art show for Asian Heritage Month of 2025. And I was like, it's 2024, like early 2024. I was like, you're asking me about 2025? I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like bug me in 2025. But yeah, sure, pencil me in, And then, it's happening. 2025 is here, and I have no idea what we're going to do. And so the first thing I do is, I bug family first. I go to Bernard. Then secondary family, I go to Sean. I'm like, well, what the hell are we going to do? Because I'm just assuming you guys are part of it, And luckily, I was able to kind of just Jedi mind trick them. And they kind of just assumed that they were part of it too. They were never actually officially asked. They were just kind of like,
Nice power. Nice power.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
But yeah, then again, like I said before, having Sean and Bernard a part of it, it made things a lot easier. The next person I asked, I think, was Jerome Opena. And his first thing was like, Sean and Bernard are in? He's like, yeah, let's do it. He's like, anything, let's do it,
That's awesome.
Well,
I love that.
two out of every three things Jerry suggests, ends up okay. So,
What are some examples of the third thing?
you end up with a chipped tooth and
Oh,
you have to get oral surgery the next day. So,
oh no. Terrible. That's what happens when you go party together. I know. I've heard some of your stories. Mm. Oh dang it! Why does it keep my thing just likes to just put everything on full screen? Oh, so this is very exciting. We got a couple of people in chat. Let's go say hey to them real quick. We had GT Key Comics happening here. This here is a link to the article you sent me. We could click on that. You read more about the event and the artists that are involved. See their pieces as well, which I'll be showing off later. We have Bleak in the house. Michael's in the house. What's up? Ducky, what's going on, Ducky? Here is the link right here to each individual market, plus the addresses if you guys want to go actually look at the event that's happening here. Go check that out. Brojo, I love that you're always in here, and I love that you never know what's going on. I think it's fantastic, so keep on popping in here. We got Michael. What's up, Michael? How are you doing? He says, Jerry Mod, congrats on everything. What's up? What's up?
Dr. Midnight.
Yeah, Dr. Midnight. We got Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What's happening? Dr. Midnight saying hello. Oh, this is also true. It's either a shark story or a fart story. You would think so. I know.
Well, just a quick thing too. If people are going to go down to Pearl River, and so Pearl River has 2 stores, one in Soho and then one inside Chelsea Market. I would love if people just went and just walk through Pearl River and take a look. They've got some great stuff also. So it
looks really cool. I like what I've seen from both venues. Yeah, very cool looking. Let's see. Like Sheldon, you also don't know what's going on, but you're here. Listen, I like that no one knows what's happening. You're all just showing up, which is fantastic. I love this. This is great. So you have like a really good group of artists. I saw Sui is in there. No, yeah, she's fantastic. Love her artwork.
She's kind of like the hot artist nowadays, I feel like.
She is. I know. We all saw her on Twitch though. She was always doing Twitch streams on there. Just fantastic. Oh, we got. What's up, Court? How are you doing? I can't highlight nothing today. I'm all like clicking things and messing stuff up. Great.
But so Sue being a part of the show is actually kind of cool because I've only met Sue like through the chat, through the stream, back during the COVID times. And last year before New York Comic Con, there was a Mocha Comic Con for one day at the Museum of Chinese America in Chinatown. Mm-hmm. And me and Sue actually had our tables right next to each other. So we finally, I got to talk to her. And, she's actually super sweet, super cool. We got along really well. And then I think like a month after meeting her at that thing, something like that, that's when I asked her, like, hey, want to be in an art show with us? And then once she heard that Sean and Bernard were in and Jerome, she's like, sure.
That's amazing. Here, I want to show off your book too, because I actually backed your Kickstarter for the Monkey King. I picked up the Jim Chung cover. So you had this book back, I want to say it was 2021.
Something like that, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe there's a link to purchase it too on the Pearl River site as well. So you guys can go still pick these up. I don't know what covers are available, but yeah, you guys still can go pick them up, which are awesome. But I really like your art style. It really tends to this really cool like graphicness, which is kind of how you do like your t-shirts and your other stuff and your watercolor, which is really lovely. Really, really enjoy it. Fantastic stuff here. But yeah, if you guys see the artwork in here, I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, you have a really unique style, which I actually really, really love. It's really pretty. It's cool. I dig it. Here, let me let's see. Sean, what's up? How did you go about doing your piece for this?
Well, okay, so I get my marching orders from Jerry. He's the ringleader, and he kind of set out the assignment. So it has to do with like the Chinatown, obviously, because that was kind of the theme. And then I guess in the beginning it was like some kind of like Chinese gods or something, and then it kind of shuffled around the different ideas until it finally landed on the Monkey King himself in modern day Chinatown. And then he assigned us, I guess you can pick also like what you would like to draw, just so we don't end up drawing the same thing. So I was assigned this this place in Chinatown. I think it's kind of well known, but surprisingly, I think a lot of people may not know, but it's like an arcade. It's one of the longest arcade places in New York, one of the ones that are still kind of open. It's just basically a bunch of arcade games, and it's been around since the 1970s. It's called Chinatown Fair, and they're most well known for having the tic-tac-toe playing chicken. And I don't know how many people know about that stuff. I thought it was kind of common knowledge, so when I did my piece, I thought it might resonate with people. But I think a lot of people, especially the tourists, like from Germany, will see the piece up in Chelsea Market and just kind of scratch their head and wonder, like, what the hell is going on in this picture? Yeah, so it's kind of famous for having a lot of the fighting games, like around the 80s and 90s. A lot of degenerate people hung out there. and I think it closed down for a while, and the chicken is gone.
Chicken.
Yeah, the chicken kind of disappeared, and what didn't really make the news or anything, but people just went back there and just either saw the empty cage thing, where I guess the chicken would be swapped out once in a while, and then eventually it was just replaced by like a Frogger machine. So yeah, this place, it used to be like a big tournament place for a lot of the fighting games. And the fighting games, I guess, are popular back in the 90s, but they're not so big now. And so the place kind of closed down, and then it recently kind of reopened, and it has like a Dave and Buster's feel in terms of the things that are inside there. Like in my drawing, you have the Monkey King on the Dance Dance Revolution game, which wouldn't be there in the past because it was always like Mortal Kombat or Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now it's completely different. It's family, and they got rid of the chicken, but I think because it might be considered cruel.
Sad.
So yeah, the chicken is kind of history there. But yeah, my piece, I kind of did it. I was one of the earlier ones to turn it in, and part of that was also like if you kind of break the ice for a lot of the artists. I think I've noticed that we had a long deadline, but no one was turning anything in. So, just in order to keep people from kind of phoning in at the last minute, I did one, and I kind of spent a lot of time on it, put a lot of detail, put a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of fun stuff in there, just to put it out first, and then hopefully our competitive nature will come out, and everyone will try to trying to one up each other. So I think it worked. It worked because there's some good things that come on after what I did.
Nice.
That's awesome. I like that. Like, so you kind of lit the fire on everybody's butt to go and do their art pieces. So I have a question for Bernard. Oh, dang, why does he do it? Why would it slide you over there? There you go. Was it kind of a challenge to kind of break away from your character that you did for Monkey Prince, but kind of do something new and fresh for the event for the Monkey King?
I think it was refreshing. It's always it's always fun to take on something new. And although the Monkey King is it's not necessarily a new character, but I think we each had our own interpretations of this kind of Chinese legend. Jerry's has his kind of very contemporary urban streetwear version in his book, and that kind of helped really propel everything. Seeing Sean's piece come in, the competitive juices got going. Jerry and I initially talked about what are different places that we can set this in. I was actually going to do a different location in Chinatown, and we had streamed it, and I had done some sketches on it. But then another artist that had the dim sum assignment didn't actually do it. I'm not going to say who, but so I was like, hey, if they're not doing the dim sum, which they had initially picked, I would like to do that one. Because dim sum was something that it's like the one with the fish market, not the fish market, the one with the I was going to do just kind of a regular market, street market kind of thing, and or night market thing, and it just when we were figuring out the composition on stream, it was like really hard to decide where to place the camera, which area to choose. Also, because I'm in LA, it's a little bit more difficult. I can't actually go and visit the site I can only use my memory from, Sean and I used to go there to take the Chinatown bus down to Baltimore for the Baltimore convention. I used to go there to get like knickknacks and haircuts, and so uh, so the dim sum one came up, and I thought, oh, that's great, because I actually did a dim sum piece before for New Superman, and I wanted to always revisit that scene, maybe from a little bit of a different perspective, and so it kind of worked out.
Nice. I like that. Let's see.
And the
Now
other
I'm
one I
gonna.
want the other one I
Well,
wanted to do was the basketball one, but Jerome took that one. So
yeah.
I'm like, everybody's taking the ones that I would have liked to have done, but and you can't, you don't want to double up. So
This is also true because you've done a lot of like sneaker things and you've done some other basketball related stuff too. I love what you did with the NFL, the one you redesigned the helmets. That was awesome. I love
thank you.
that. Oh, we got Kevin P. West in the house. What's up, Kev? Hopefully your power is back on after those storms last week. That was rough. Welcome in. And this was true. You were here the last time giving us
Yeah,
dating advice because of that book.
I remember
Yes.
that. I remember that.
Yeah. Good times.
Oh, about the game?
Yeah, your the dating book that you did, you were giving us dating advice at the one time. Your earlier works, which was great. I love
Did
that.
did Michael end up getting a girlfriend or boyfriend, or
Very good question. Very good question. Did his advice lead you to getting some kind of
or both?
friend? Either one, you don't know this day and age. You can have multiple. It's a good
There's
question.
also advice if you wanted to get a threesome.
Oh,
Oh,
you know, that would probably be the best advice for some people. Yes, get out of that.
I mean, you have it at all levels. There's like for beginner, the intermediate, and the advanced.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, having a menage a trois is quite
Oh,
advanced. Um,
I think so. Yeah. Oh, wait.
uh,
Oh,
that's next
he
level.
failed, but that's on him. Oh, dang.
well, look, I think that's actually a very positive attitude, right? That if things don't necessarily work out in kind of an attraction scenario,
Yeah.
don't blame the other person. A lot of times people, they don't know what's good or what's bad. It's good to actually take responsibility on yourself and to figure out, like, well, what did I do? What did I say? Or was I too aggressive, or was I too needy, or too this or that, or too less
Yeah.
of something? And again, keeping in mind that everybody is different. You meet someone new, they have their own history and their own background. But to take the responsibility on yourself and say, well, what else can I do, or how can I make myself better, a better person, and open up more opportunities. So
Nice.
Great advice.
I like this from Shutter Duck. Random thought. Dim sum without carts doesn't feel like dim sum. You're onto something there. I have a question for Jerry. Well, let me move you over here. How come there wasn't a Raquel the Bird Lady with the Monkey King piece? In this?
The rat lady.
Oh, the rat lady. Yeah. Yeah.
So since I've gotten married, I just don't run at night.
Oh.
I haven't run at night
Aw.
since, I guess since 2024 or 23. Excuse me, 2023, I guess.
Oh.
So yeah, so that's why she just hasn't been really a part of my life anymore.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
there really
okay.
hasn't been a Raquel the Rat Lady update.
No, yeah, that's right. We haven't had one in a
The
hot minute.
the last thing I saw was I was running, and it was probably like around 5 o'clock. It was still sunny outside,
Yeah.
and a lady was walking her dog, and complained, asking for me for help, because apparently Raquel like attacked her dog because like the dog was barking too much at the pigeons and the rats.
Oh no.
So the lady with her dog was like pleading to me for help, and I just started laughing when I saw who she was like asking me for help from, And I was just like, oh, I gotta go. I'm just going to my job.
Jerry, you should have invited her to the opening night.
You
I
should
couldn't
have,
help it.
Jerry.
I
You
couldn't keep a
should
straight
have.
face when I saw that was the rat lady,
That's right, Kev. I'm so upset that there was never a rat lady drawing challenge either. We need that in our life. Let's go. How dare you not bring that back?
That's
here.
actually
Let's pick-
that's a good idea,
Yeah.
K-pop.
Yeah.
You know, next time on stream we should do our own version of like.
I will draw with that. Listen, I know Kev is up for it. Next, are you streaming next Tuesday, or you're off for a while because of Taiwan?
Next Tuesday I'm gonna be in Japan, so I'm not gonna be able to
Oh,
stream.
yeah.
But
Fancy.
but that's a good idea. Is that we can do
Yes.
like a Raquel the Rat Lady,
Yes.
kind of like universe Bible creation. You know,
I'm
how
down for
did
this.
she be? What was she like? Maybe she was like, a
Ooh.
cat person or something prior to, and then somehow, turned into a pigeon lady, or
Yeah.
was always a pigeon lady, or was a squirrel lady before, and what was the catalyst to her,
Mm. I'm down for
I'm
this.
telling
I
you
like
guys,
this.
she's scarier than you think.
Well, perfect, because
And-
I like horror art. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah,
She's
and the only
always
picture
wearing
Jerry was the only picture Jerry got for us was like this blurred,
That's right.
slipometer,
I remember that.
kind of from like 100 yards away.
Because she
And,
told me to take the picture, and she started like pointing her finger at me. You know.
Maybe she's a witch. Maybe she knew and sensed
Wait.
that you were over there. Or yeah, the rats have eyes,
You
and she
don't
can sense that
understand
people
it,
are
but
looking at her. Yeah.
She wears all black, like black overcoat. She's super skinny and super pale, and she's just always like every night she goes there and feeds all the rats and pigeons, and like it's I want to say a 5-foot radius all the way around her of just rats and pigeons, like just eating from her hands and everything. It's so gross.
Hold on. I like this. If I draw a picture of Jared running from the rat lady, could we get T-shirts made? You did mention you might have T-shirts coming back around again.
Raquel the Rat Lady. I mean, maybe she's a
Yes.
big fan too.
Oh, that could be.
She should command all the rats to go into the hotel of the Pacers, and then and then crawl in the walls, and then keep up the players at night so they don't get enough sleep, and then the next day they're groggy and they lose.
I gotta take my wife Ivy to go jogging at nighttime just so she can see the rat lady once in her life.
Yes. Okay, you got to get her reaction of seeing the rat lady. We need this. We need to have this happen in our life. She can record, or you can record her and be like, "Oh, she might be terrified." Yeah, it's gonna be great. We need this to happen. I love this. I like all these suggestions for the chat. They're great.
I would say like when she leaves, right? After she feeds, like how long is the feeding session, Jerry?
Oh,
yeah.
she's there for like a long time. It's not like a couple minutes. Like she's there like for like at least. I mean, I'll see her going both ways on my jog, like going there and then returning home.
Wow.
She's there for a while.
Wow, that's
And,
interesting.
I saw her there at the daytime, like as it was getting dark, and like I said, threatening the lady with the dog.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's starting to sound like a D&D villain. Yes, listen, she's got the birds and the rats running around because she could get their eyes on everyone in the city. She knows what's happening. That's what's going on. She knows. It's a hive. They can figure out what's happening. This is great. I love this. Yeah, we need way more of Raquel the rat lady. This story is about her. Nam or Taco, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask these guys while we're here?
So I noticed that they to make a different characters, I mean different drawings, you only talk about places. Were you allowed to create a side characters of Monkey King, like the pig guy or the master or any of the side characters?
The pig character.
Yeah.
Well,
or you had to just choose different place. That's it.
Well, so they were all going to feature the Monkey King and or his friends or entourage or whoever else you wanted to add in there. Jerome had involved the monk Tripitaka as well as Pigsy into his piece. Bernard's had like everyone in his piece. Sandy, Taka, all of them, Pacey, you know.
I had the horse too.
Yeah. My piece, I had like a couple of other characters like Erlang Sheng as well, a couple of their the deities, you know. So it was really up to the artists as long as they involved. Basically, we want to make Chinatown, New York, as a character in the drawing, if you will.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
So the background was the character. So that
Well, yeah, you know, like, look, I think anytime these guys, Sean and Bernard can probably answer this better than me, but at least for myself, I always try to give the environment some personality as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
cool.
Yeah,
like that.
I think that's a.
Wait, go
Oh,
for it.
sorry. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead. I was just saying, from the pieces I saw, everyone's looked really unique, and I like that they kind of like had their own style and influence going on in there, which is really cool. I like the basketball one. The basketball one is neat. It just gives that like cool vibe, like the street vibe, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and that one's in Columbus Park. So there's a Chinatown basketball club that plays there every week. I know they have tournaments there or just pick up. But yeah, you know, like as going back on Jerry, piggyback on that is like, I mean, backgrounds and environments are another character in the story. And I think the three of us, you know, including Sean, and you know the other people in the exhibit, we're all very keen on storytelling with artwork. So it's not just like drawing the characters, which is, you know, it's fun to do. I mean, we're humans, right? So when you draw another kind of human-esque character, you relate to it as an artist. But the story itself, I mean, the environment really helps create the setting.
Mhm.
And you know, like Jerry's is in the Canal Street um, station, and you know, I remember going to the Canal Street station when I was an art student, and I had to go to Pearl Paint. Um, and you know, you get a sense of like you see the tiles and the detail and the work and the little yellow nubs on the edge of the platform, and um, all of that really kind of engrosses and puts you into a moment in time, and it's as if you can be in that drawing itself. You know, Sean's of course playing Dance Dance Revolution. I mean, that's a huge thing. Like, you know, even here, like in Asia, they have like they still have these kind of like not
Yeah.
necessarily Dance Dance Revolution, but they have like these drum games and these games where like it's like a tunnel of like a warp tunnel of like, you know, different things, and you have to like hit the screen. And you know, I've seen like kids, they wear gloves because to be sanitary, you know, they, you know, never know
Yeah.
who played the game before you, but and they're going like "Ugh," and then like in between rounds they're like, you know, warming up and they're doing a little thing and then they're going "Ugh." So it's really fun, you know, when you see that amount of detail and attention placed into the environments and the settings. Hopefully, you know, for the viewer or the fan, when they're looking at it, they really get. If they're not used to it, they'll be introduced to it. But if they've already been there before, it you know, kind of time warps them or you know, teleports them into that setting.
How does a classical character like the Monkey King reflect your like all three of your values as, you know, a multicultural, you know, having to balance your Chinese heritage and your American culture? And was that something you wanted? Obviously, you know, choosing Chinatown here in America, there's an opportunity to communicate a lot of themes and things through the work. What were some of the things you wanted to individually focus on to reflect like Chinese Americans?
Well, all right. I hate to keep answering, but so a big reason why I wanted to do this in the very first place, my nephew. So growing up, I'm sure Sean and Bernard can agree with me. Growing up, you know, I was watching all the Monkey King TV shows, movies, comics, everything. I love the character. To me, he was the first superhero I ever read, and he was the closest thing in America that we had to an Asian superhero. You know, even though it was always in Chinese. So you know, we never had an Asian American hero back then. And my nephews, I started asking them. I want to say a couple years ago, you know, like what they thought of the Monkey King, and because there's so many different movies on Netflix and stuff, and they just didn't care. And they were like, well, we don't know anything about them. And it kind
Whoa.
of stung. It kind of
Yeah.
hurt, you know? And I pulled up a whole bunch of the movies on Netflix to show them, like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, look at this, you know? And all of them were just really, really bad kung fu movies, if I'm being honest, you know?
Yeah.
They really focused on all the wrong things about the Monkey King. It's the journey west to discover Buddhism, you know? But it's also like a comedy with kung fu, of course. But so I just wanted to do a version that might be a little bit more relatable to their generation by putting him, you know, picking out which sneakers he's got to wear, put him in clothing that they might wear themselves, and in an environment that they will go to themselves. I thought that might be a fun way of updating it and, you know, injecting some new life into the existing IP, if you will. But Sean and Bernard, I'm sure they've got their own answers to this question. Guys?
Well, I used to read a lot of comics. Well, growing up in Taiwan initially, my family didn't immigrate to the States until I was 6. So in Taiwan, I read a lot of manga. There's a comic book called Lao Fuzi, Old Master Q, which is a Hong Kong-based comic. And coming to the U.S., 6 years old, first grade, just learning English. Every week when my mother would go to the supermarket or drugstore, I'd tag along. And I'd camp out at the comic book rack, the drugstore. I think it was the, not Kroger, but it was, I forgot the name of it. And, so I'd read like one sleeve or one aisle of comics a week. And then by the time I get to the 4th one, it's the new month. So then the new comics come in. And my dad saw that I was taking a liking to these American superheroes. And he was like, let me introduce you to a Chinese superhero. And so he had his friends in Taiwan send him Journey to the West. It's a thick-ass book. And he would read to me a few pages every night as bedtime story. And, back then it was just words. There was no pictures. There was no internet. And so I would go to sleep imagining, these kind of really wild adventures of what the Monkey King looked like and Zubajian, Pixie, and all the demons and the bad, the bad guys. And so it was, for me, I really equated to a lot of my kind of creativity because going to sleep, trying to imagine these crazy adventures by this rebellious monkey who achieves, immortality by, going through taking lessons and then challenging the gods in heaven, and then being punished. And then as part of his punishment, repentance is to escort this monk to go from China to India to pick up the Buddhist scriptures to bring back to the emperor, which essentially is introducing Buddhism into China. And and all the adventures that they go through. So it was I had a very personal attachment to the character. And along the way, my parents got divorced at one point, and so I never got to finish the Monkey King story itself, the Journey to the West. It was very close to the end, but I never got to finish the story. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I got to create a new character for DC called Monkey Prince with Gene Yang, that kind of became full circle. That at that point, some 40, 50 years later, I was like, oh wow, I can actually revisit it because now there's stuff in English. There's books translated into English, and so I was able to finish the initial Journey to the West. And now there's also all this material out there. Back then there was a cartoon on in Hong Kong, but it didn't really make it to Taiwan, or at least I wasn't aware of it at the time. And but like Jerry said, there's all these different adaptations over the years of the Monkey King. Most of them are have some kind of creative license so it's not exactly one-to-one to the original book. But this was another kind of opportunity to explore, one of these childhood characters and storylines that have stayed with me for since I was a kid. And the Monkey King, of course, is probably one of the most popular, or Journey to the West, one of the most popular stories. Um, but there are also a lot of other, Chinese mythological stories too. This one is just the one that I think most people have heard of, and has been like Dragon Ball Z is an adaptation of
Yeah, I
the
think
Monkey King.
entire generation, because of Dragon Ball Z, kind of understand sort of the analogies there. But yeah, it's definitely, there's so many different versions of the story. I'm just wondering how you would relate sort of the classical mythical character into, like, the American, I guess, how you would translate that in pop culture for Americans, I guess. Because I know you did, that's a great series, The Monkey Prince, but is it similar to that in terms of like this current project?
I think there's nuances of like Asian Americanness. With my dim sum piece, it was more like experiencing the dim sum experience in Chinatown. Like the server ladies that are pushing the carts around. They're always extremely disinterested in providing you service, or even doing what they're gonna, whatever you pick the dish to. They're like, whatever, just get over. What do you want to eat? Come on. And there's also the guy that adds up the bill, who never uses a calculator. It's just in his head. And he's like extremely, also very disinterested. And, upset at you for actually having him to, forcing him to count and to add stuff up. But yeah, these are all experiences growing up, going to different Chinatowns. When we first immigrated to the States, I was in Indiana. So every now and then we go up to Chicago. Chicago had a big Chinatown, and I remember we'd go there as a family and make it like a field trip. We'd go to like a couple museums, and then we go to Chinatown for like a meal, and then drive back to Indiana. New York was like kind of the next big experience, and I grew up mostly in Miami after Indiana. There wasn't a lot of Asian people in most of the schools that I went to, I was the only Asian kid, or one of two or three in the entire school. I remember, but coming to New York for college, being able to go to Chinatown and walk around and get food like baozi and all this stuff that I would eat as a kid was a little different. Cantonese flavors are a little bit different than Taiwanese, but it was still a little flavor of home. And what about you, Sean? I don't want to.
Well, I think I came at it a little differently. I kind of very disappointingly, it wasn't. I'm not that familiar with the character. So with my piece, I'll always do whatever is required to get a good piece drawn, and primarily that meant going to visit the site and then just trying to translate that into an image. But when it came time to draw the character, I found that all I need to do is really to know what he looks like, and I really wanted to take a deep dive into the lore and the history. He's one of the most enduring characters in history, because I remember my grandfather telling me about when he sees a picture of the Monkey King, either through like the Chinese newspaper, he would tell me who it is, and then to be talking about that same character now, it just means that it just goes on for generations. I was born here. My mother, she kind of fled Taiwan, so when she kind of escaped to America, we were kind of blocked off from the Chinese culture. Other than the food and getting straight A's, that's as far as she goes with the Chinese culture. So we were kind of raised as just Americans. So I was completely unfamiliar with the whole story. Mm-hmm. And so this project was a good way to kind of get into it for the first time. And unfortunately, it didn't require too much, because I just really needed to know what he looked like. And I get the sense that he's like very active and very mischievous. So I can put that in there. But most of the work went into just the location, and because there's so much to know about that, and putting so much to learn about that to draw this properly. If I was going to do a book that had the Monkey King as the character, I would have to probably take a good long time, like maybe an entire month, just trying to see as many examples and read as many stories just to really understand the character. But for me, this for this one, I just really needed to know what he looked like. And then, before I kick the bucket, I do want to really delve deep into this character, because it's, it gets passed down from generation to generation. And if I don't really learn about it and pass it on to my kids, then it kind of ends here with their exposure to this story. So it's definitely something I plan to get into much more in the future.
What's interesting is it's such a powerful story and character. It really, because it's an East Asian, it's across Asia, right? Any place that's been touched by Buddhism, and Korea and Japan, they all communicated in Chinese written language for many centuries, and it's such a popular story even in Korea and Japan. So I'm just wondering if that's, for you as Chinese Americans, if that's important to like bring a representation of this to Americans that will not only land within our community among Asian Americans, but also have sort of a larger. I know there've been movies and there've been, there's been a lot of like, I guess, projects related to that, but it still feels like it's largely kind of unknown here in America.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting discussion. I mean, part of this whole thing about AAPI month, right? The month of May, celebrating Asian Americans, or the part of it is to recognize Asian Americans in the past that have contributed to building our nation. It's not just kind of one ethnic group that built everything. It's really a combination of a lot of different people from different backgrounds, from different places, that have contributed, small pieces, larger pieces here and there, to this history, to this great nation's history. And then along that way, part of the recognition of our cultural characters or histories really kind of bring that along. And in many respects, yes, a lot of Asian characters haven't necessarily made it more to the mainstream as kind of European or Western characters have. So I think that's part of all of a little bit of kind of what we're doing, or anyone in this month is, or actually should be throughout the year. But it does speak a lot. I mean, there's a lot of, in Chinese mythology or Chinese stories, and it's interesting to see how things work, right? If you talk about Greek or Roman history, like Zeus, or the Greek gods, they're all up on heaven, and they're kind of dictating, and then they're coming down to earth to fornicate with the humans, and then go back, and then create these kind of hybrid offspring that kind of, like Hercules does. But Chinese mythology, like in Sun Wukong, when he goes up to the heavens, there was this whole bureaucratic system of how the gods work. You have, there's a tablet of like, oh, you're supposed to die at this time, and so there's a whole, you have to appeal to, the different emperors of different gods have to go and appeal to the higher gods to get somebody taken off of the list or put here, or, so it's a very different way of looking at, what kind of heaven is. And it's very interesting too, because of how bureaucratic it is. It's not just like one person decides everything. They have to, well, there is the Jade Emperor, but there's still, amongst the other levels of hierarchy of gods, they have to, appease one. It's very political, it's almost like a theater.
that reminds me the bureaucracy of the sono. By the way, in Korea we call it sonogong. How do you guys pronounce it? Sonogong.
Sonukong. Sonukong.
Yeah.
Son Wukong.
Sonukong.
Yes, we are very distinct. Son O Gong, 3 syllables. But yeah, the bureaucracy of it, like when Son O Gong destroys that tablet, all of a sudden bureaucracy is broken because this random guy comes in, a random monkey comes in and destroys this tablet, right? And all of a sudden, all those people in that tablets are immortals, you know, because
Right. Yeah, they're no longer because of the tab they can't die anymore. They're not on the
yeah,
list.
they because
Yeah.
it's
So all
in
the monkeys
bureaucracy. Yeah.
in Flowerfruit Mountain are now immortal.
So I was hoping one of you guys would say, "Oh yeah, the Sonogong went to uh, DMV in a Chinatown and destroyed all the records, you know." So
Wait, so you're saying Sonogong is Trump, basically?
Now, man, you said we're not supposed to get political on this chat here. And here you are pushing the buttons.
No, but I mean, I just picture that. I just see Sonogong making chaos all over the place in Chinatown.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Sun Wukong character for different, eras politically meant different things. Back during the Cultural Revolution, when the communists took over China, and and they were going through kind of the Cultural Revolution. Sun Wukong took on a different kind of mantle. He kind of became the revolutionary, the revolting against this, so that aspect of his life kind of took a forefront and really became kind of a more of a cultural hero, whereas a lot of like historic literature or whatever was kind of looked down upon at the time. But his rebellious attitude towards the people in power really took. I just like that he ate all the peaches and then fell asleep, and then
Yeah, I love that part.
or one of the adventures he'd go and he drank all the wine, and then he realized like, oh shit, I drank all the wine, so he urinated in the jugs, and then the bad guy drank his urine. That was like kind of like fun as a kid. It's like hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's also, like again, I mean, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, yeah, Asian. There's a lot of similarities, and even when I did the Monkey Prince, and I went to India, and the Indians were like, "Oh, we have a monkey god too," and maybe he could be a character that pops up in the story. So there is this overlying thread in the Eastern cultures that do kind of have this monkey character, and it's always fun to kind of explore.
I mean, I really like to see Asian myth, like you see, you mentioned Hercules and Zeus and things like that. I wish those kind of mythical culture from Asian nations, make it to the Western eyes. I would love to see that. So, and
Well, for the new book I'm doing with the Lab Press, we are trying to introduce a lot of the Asian mythical characters and putting them into New York today. So
Great, yeah.
we the writer of the project, my co-creator and writer is Jeff Yang, and we've been talking about potentially, depending if this book does well enough, we might follow it up with like a Chinese mythology, but in New York story.
Oh, that's fun. So will it be a continuation of the other story that you did, or something different?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a continuation. It's a couple years after. We wanted to do a little separation just because we wanted to have its own identity, but live in the same world as well.
Nice.
I can see Bernard is flipping through Conan there.
Oh, wait.
And
Oh,
that's,
yeah. You want to talk about that for a second?
This is Jerry's latest book that just came out
Yes,
yesterday.
that's
Um,
right.
um, a story, was Conan, and Jerry, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, let's
Um,
talk about that for a second. Come
I mean,
on, Jerry.
congrats.
Yes,
so
super
that
congrats.
I was pretty lucky to work with Walt Simonson on it. He's the
Wow.
writer. It's for Heroic Signatures, has a Conan license here in America. Titan Comics has it in Europe. This comic it was just released yesterday, but only digitally, so it's a little bittersweet that it's just digital, but it's been a long journey to get this book out, so it's just nice that it finally came out. But the original story was a few years ago. One of the editors over at Heroic asked if I would be interested in spearheading like the Eastern stories of the Conan universe. And I was
Ooh.
I was like, fuck yeah, I would love that. Then that kind of transformed into doing Conan when he was younger in Asia.
Ooh.
And then so
Hey.
they asked me to do a story on it, but I didn't want to write it. So I asked if I could bring a friend to write it. And they're like, oh, who's your friend? Then it turned out to be Walt Simonson. So they got pretty excited about that. And then Walt, he got pretty pumped to do this type of a story. And I think it's pretty cool. It's essentially young Conan traveling through the East, and that's where he gets I feel like his iconic necklace. So it's basically just, it's kind of cool to kind of be involved in the Conan mythology just a little bit. And yeah, getting to work with Walt is quite literally like a dream come true. He's amazing. He's the best. It was funny, like getting to talk to Walt about like he would send me the script and then ask me what I wanted to do with it, and then he would ask me like, "Are you okay drawing this?" And I was like, "Well, you just fucking tell me what to do. I'm gonna do it."
Wow.
That reminds me of there's a character in a book. I don't remember the book, but it's one of those characters. He became immortal because he was one of those Roman soldier who stabbed Jesus, and the one who stabbed Jesus, and the blood soaked him, and he became a sort of like unknown immortal. And one of these days, he get captured by these gladiators. He becomes a gladiator, and he learns how to fight. He learns a martial art because there was a Asian guy in that, where they got trapped into these gladiators. There was this Asian gladiator, and he teaches them all the martial arts. So this guy,
Kung Fu.
yeah, he's a kung fu guy, and he's just traveling around. So he's a Roman soldier, kung fu guy. I forgot what the story was, but this reminds me the Conan walking through East Asia reminds me of this guy.
So it's not Conan killing just a bunch of Asians then. It's more, I'm sure, compelling than that.
Yeah. I mean, he does kill some, obviously some like raiders and stuff like that, but it's pretty mystical, magical. It was, like I said, it was cool because I've only worked with like a handful of writers, and not that any of them are bad or anything, but working with Walt, it really was like next level type of shit. He taught me a lot about my approach to making comics and the way to handle other writers, how to accept their synopses, their scripts, and my approach to reading it and taking it on in the very beginning. Walt was my teacher in college, which is how I know him. I don't know why, but for some ridiculous reason, he like looks to me as a friend. So like he literally called me 10 minutes before I jumped on this call. This stream. When I was in Philadelphia this past weekend, he called me when I was at the con. Like he's just he's the best. And then I told him I'd give him a call tonight before midnight. Just to we were all excited because the Conan comic is actually the #1 seller on Amazon for like fantasy epic graphic novels, you know. We got 2 reviews. One is really good, and one is really bad. And we were
Oh,
just
no.
joking. We were joking about the bad review about how Walt doesn't know how to write anymore. The artwork is
Oh.
slightly above average.
Well,
And
he
we were
just didn't like the
laughing. It
synopsis. He
was
just
so
didn't
bad.
like the
I want
narrative.
to post that review like on social media, you know.
Jerry, you got to print it out and hang it up in your wall. In the back.
You got it. Listen, that's how you know you made it.
The
You
art
get with a
is
bad
slightly
review
above
for
average.
something.
I guess good enough to carry the story. But I wish Walt would have drawn it himself.
Oh, damn. Rough. I posted the link to it here, so you could go and pick this up here from Titan Comics. I couldn't find it on the other website, but here you can buy the different versions of the digital copy right there. So if you guys want to check that out, go for it.
He's some slightly above average artwork.
Yeah, he's like motivation, Jerry, motivation. I like this comment too. We have a question also. I believe this is Simple Man too. He wanted to know, is Bernard sitting on top of a ladder? He's above the window. Just I bring the real question, just FYI. And yeah, it does look like you are sitting on top of the
Well,
Yeah.
Loading.
this apartment is a little weird. So this window is like a double height window.
You're in the
So
loft.
there's like two so 2 levels to the loft, and then the bedroom is on the 2nd level. So the window doesn't go all the way to the, you know. So,
Yeah.
but I'm sitting on this side. I don't know if you guys noticed. I've been shifting back and forth
Yes.
because Jerry's screen left so far. I just didn't want him to be screen left by himself. And then I noticed, you know, there's like, so now it's 2 people on the left, 2 people on the right, and then 2 people in the middle. I'm wondering who's going to break the tie. I was over here, but then I was like, oh, it's too imbalanced. I don't want Jerry to be by himself.
Oh, look at Jerry.
I'm
Look
gonna
at
get
Love it. That's awesome. But yeah,
Is there a pressure? I know you mentioned that because you have a personal relationship with Walt, it's probably easier to collaborate. But is there a pressure to when working with a legend like that to kind of like up your, bring your A game to match his legacy in comics?
Well, I've been pretty fortunate. I mean, I've got some pretty cool friends like Sean and Bernard here. I feel like I'm always kind of surrounded. I always think the best compliment an individual can have is by being the worst at whatever he does amongst his circle of friends, and I definitely fit the bill there. So, but working with Walt in particular, he's been such an influential person in my life in general. I mean, he calls me just to tell me to like hug my wife before I go to sleep. I'm not even kidding.
Aww.
Walt is the best. And I obviously didn't want to let him down. So he was, and Walt's great. Like he'll just tell me like, hey, I'm gonna go to bed like at 1:30 in the morning tonight, so just call me before then. His phone is always open to me, which is great. He invites me to go stay at his house for a night or two. He's got a guest room, and he always invites me and my wife Ivy over there. He's since I was in college, he's just been such a driving force. Even when I was doing graphic design for clothing, I would always pick his brain and ask for his opinion on stuff. So when I finally, but because of that, I actually hired him as a freelance illustrator back when I was doing clothing, as well as Bernard. And then I worked with Walt to make a couple T-shirts under my own line. So I've had the experience of working with him before, which made things a lot easier. But this is the first time where I had to I think also being his student, I'm used to taking direction from him. So there was nothing odd there except for the pressure of letting him down. It's almost like working with your dad in a weird way, Not that Walt is old and whatever. I think he's super relevant. I think he's amazing. But yeah, I think I put him up there like that in my life. So anytime I do anything with Walt, I don't want to let him down. He's the man, he's taught me a lot about everything. Forget about drawing. That's like the smallest thing he's taught me on, you know, just the way to treat other people. Well, if you've met anyone that has hung out with Walt, had any conversation with Walt, they will tell you him and his wife Louise are two of the nicest people in the world. I don't think anyone will ever say anything bad about them. If they do, the problem is with them. Which is why we get a kick out of reading those types of reviews, you know, like saying that Walt doesn't know how to write comments. Like, come on, man, you know, like, are you crazy? Like, are you crazy? You think Walt Simonson doesn't know how to make comic books, you know? But yes, that review is totally valid, and we appreciate it.
That's awesome. That somebody actually took the time to read the book, though, since it did come out yesterday. So kudos to that guy for reading.
Well, I mean, Bernard's known, Sean and Bernard have known Walt for a while, but Bernard has worked with Walt's wife, Louise Simonson, on a pretty big project. So, I mean, I'm assuming Bernard has the same feels as I did, you know.
Yeah. What was that like, Bernard?
Well, first of all, I'm so jealous of Jerry that, you know, he gets calls from Walter. I mean, Walter is like, when I was starting out and I was collecting comics, you know, we talked about I was reading comics when I was like 6, 7 years old. But I didn't start collecting comics until maybe like 12, 13. You know, before that, the comics get all crumpled up. At 12, 13, I realized they're actually worth some money. So now when you're reading them, you know, you're putting them on a table, you're reading, and then you flip the page, and then your hands are back here. You're not touching the book, and then when you're done, you're putting it into a sleeve. So yeah, Walter. I mean, like Battlestar Galactica. You know, he drew Battlestar Galactica, and when the TV show went off the air, you know, that was the only thing you could get, and I was a huge fan. And you know, his X-Men Teen Titans book was probably one of the most influential books in terms of just, you know, the amount of times I flipped through it, and then being able to work with Luis on it also really kind of you know, it's like another big kind of nice bow tie. I can jump off the bridge now. I'd be happy. You know, but man, Jerry gets phone calls from Walter. That's he gets to invite you to his house to sleep over.
Well,
Yeah,
he
that's
did make an
insane.
appearance on your show a couple years ago. You did have him on.
I mean, Sean had an opportunity to maybe perhaps be another legend, a son-in-law, but of another comic book legend. But
Oh, want to share that
Is
story,
Walter-
Sean?
Oh yeah, that's well, when I first got into comics, I showed my work to Barry Windsor Smith, and this is right after I was reading, you know, his Weapon X, and you know, his Weapon X was kind of put in that what was that anthology. So I was kind of like didn't really get a lot of stuff in comics because I drew very realistically, and I wasn't that familiar with comics, so that Kirby and Buscema stuff always looked kind of weird to me because they didn't look like people. So when I saw Barry Windsor Smith stuff, it looks like it came from a different inspiration. He actually drew things more organically and more realistically, and had like more of an artistic flair because I was trained as a fine artist. So I would do like still lifes and landscapes and stuff like that, and draw from the figure, and it would look a certain way. And then comics was kind of like a little bit bizarre to me, so it took a little while to wrap my head around that. So Barry was my one way in because he showed me that you can actually draw people and anatomy kind of realistically, and then have some sort of like organic ink, pen and ink style, or ink, or you know, watercolor style. And so I showed my work to you know, the publisher at Valiant, and he said, "Well, let me get you into a meeting with our editor, our art director." And that was Barry Windsor Smith. I couldn't believe I was there in front of him because he was like the one guy that I really liked. And so, you know, he looked at my stuff, and then he kind of like tore it apart. So that was like he didn't like it at all, and it looked like I was really bombing the whole portfolio review. But in the end, he said he really liked the stuff, and what he was trying to do with that attitude was to see whether I was someone who can be taught. Because if you're a guy that defends yourself and then kind of pushes back, and you can't be taught, he doesn't want to deal with you. So he would hire you based on whether you could draw, and then whether also whether you were like a teachable, if you're like a people person. So for a while, you know, I picked up all my stuff and moved to New York to work in the office, and because I thought he was there all the time, but I mean, really, he was just there once in a while. But he mostly lived up in Woodstock and came down like maybe once or twice a week. So
Wow.
yeah. And then so you know, he's one of my mentor. I don't know what I did to have all these great mentors, but I worked closely with Barry Windsor Smith, and then the other person I worked before that was David Mazzucchelli. I just met at a convention, and then the other person was Bob Layton, who was like really the day-to-day, every day in Valley, and I would see him a lot. So there was, you know, 3 heavy hitters there, and you know, I don't know what it was. I think if you get your artwork to a point where it looks like you're serious and you're growing, and they can see potential, I think that's one thing. But then another thing is that if you're just like a nice person that is willing to take a lot of instruction, and that really goes a long way too. So yeah, that's you know, my story coming up in comics.
Do you think it's harder to mentor like the mentorship you received? It seemed like, you know, the industry has changed so much where everybody's not working in the same office and doing things collaboratively in the presence of others. Do you find like you want to mentor people, but it's harder to do that because of this digital technology that's in our way?
Yeah, I think we talked about that before, that whole system is pretty much gone now. And the people are different. Also, like, you know, I have a hard time mentoring people. I have kids, and then both of them have to do projects with art for school. And I just find it very hard teaching kids, because I think one of the ways you get really good at drawing is if you develop a real allergy or a real hatred for artwork that doesn't look good. So you end up being very rigorous and very strict about your own work, to a point where it gets very hard when you're teaching someone. And that's just me personally. I think I'm just weird that way. I think Bernard is very good at teaching people. You know, Bernard will give you a 2-hour critique for anyone who wants it. It's very giving of his time. A lot of times, like, I really do want to be like that, but it's just very hard for me. I don't get nasty or anything. I just and it's such a big subject, teaching people. So I find it very hard to mentor people. But I do care a lot about them, and I want them to do well. And I kind of have to push them off to other people who are better at teaching than I am.
Interesting.
I do want to say something, Zach, because Dr. Midnight and Simple Man also hang in your Twitch streams. Because if you guys don't know, pretty much every Tuesday, roughly 9 o'clock EST, you guys go live on Twitch and on YouTube as well. And you do live drawing. A lot of times, sometimes you do critiques as well. You do pages and some other stuff. And I love that they're saying, not to glaze anyone, but it's a fact that Sean, Jerry, and Bernard are excellent teachers of art and storytelling, and when asked to take their work, they can check, but encourage you. This is very true. You also have a Discord where you can plop stuff in there, and you all kind of just go over and look at stuff and see where people are at. But no, I love the fact that you guys take the time to do that, especially live on a platform where we do like the weird little the art challenges where people jump on there and they draw stuff out live, which is fantastic. I love that. I think you guys are fantastic for that. I lurked in your guys' stream for a long time before I actually got involved. Now here I am hanging with you dudes. But I think it's really cool to see people that have been in the business talk shop, but also talk about art and how to actually go about doing it. And that's some of my favorite things that I love, hanging with people in the art section. Yeah, I love it. It's amazing. I love seeing that. So yeah, no, you guys do a great job. I do want to say Jerry has to cut out soon. So before that happens, we can all stay on here, but Jerry kind of has to cut out in a minute.
Sorry. I do have
That's
He has
okay.
to give Walter a call.
That's right.
Midnight call.
Walter.
Does Walter read you a bedtime story?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
No, this is kind of fun because we've waited so long for this goddamn comic to come out. It started off as a 4-page story that I was supposed to write and draw myself. And then it turned into this crazy thing, and it took years, I mean, literally years to come out. And now it's not even really out. It's out, sort of out, not really out, but it's out.
Wow.
And, you know, we get to like yuck it up about it now, and it's kind of fun. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I can't believe like yesterday I just spaced out, and I didn't realize I didn't speak to him yesterday about it. So I called him like at 12:30 at night, and he was actually awake, but he I don't want to put Walt's business out there, but he doesn't have a landline anymore, so he's not used to carrying his like cell phone with him everywhere he goes, you know. And then he emailed me like 2 in the morning. He's like, I saw that I missed your call. Should I call you right now? You know.
Aw.
And
That's
then
awesome.
I was like, I'll just call you in the morning. You know, but the morning meant tonight now. You know. But yeah, I just it's fun because we finally get to like laugh at some of the things together and enjoy working on it together. Finally, you know, I feel like when you're working on it, you enjoy that process, but you're working on it, so it's still work. Now that it's over, I mean, it's been over for so long. It's comical how long we waited for it to come out. So it's part of like, I'm really looking forward to just like making fun of this whole process with him. You know, it'll be cool.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I know before you head out of here, besides the Monkey King event, do you have any other cons or anything that you're going to be at?
Well, I guess the next thing is I'm waiting to hear back from New York Comic Con. I believe they tell artists if they're in or not. I think the end of June or something like that. Something like that. Besides that, we talked briefly about this on the stream Tuesday. I learned a big lesson. I think I got to cut back on going to these conventions. It's a lot of hard work. I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah.
I'm 50 years old now. Lugging around a 70-pound suitcase, not fun. My whole body was like sore for days, you know.
Aw.
Just because I had to carry, my wife's stuff, my stuff, the suitcase, banner stands, like it's just. And I still think last time I did that, I was in my 20s, you know. So like it used to be no big deal, but I'm fucking 50 years old now. You know, was not as easy as I remembered it to be. But conventions, I'm gonna try to bring it down to like 2 a year, maybe. I think that's in my ballpark of being able to handle it. Bernard and Sean, I know they do plenty. I don't know how, but they managed to make it look pretty easy, you know.
Yeah. Well, Walt's out there too. Walt and Louise are out there doing all kinds of cons every now and then. I see them out there running around. That's
a different experience than what I'm going
through. That's completely a little bit different, yeah. But Simple Man's like I say, you don't look a day over 30, Jerry. Oh, look at you. Yeah. I do have the link here too, because you guys want to ever go pick up some of the books that Jerry has done, like the Monkey King book, your Dim Sum Gang, some other stuff you have on there. You do have it on your website there. And I did post a link to the Titan Comics to go pick up your Conan story, because you said that is only digital, but you guys can go read that there as well on there. But yeah, thank you, Jerry. I will be going through in a few minutes and showing up the art pieces and the slides that you sent me, so people can go check out the art, because you can actually get the prints as well from your exhibit for the Monkey King.
So
I believe
Bernard's
they can reach out
print
to somebody.
was the first one to sell out.
Look at that. Breaking rights again. Look at this.
But for some strange reason, when I ordered these prints, they gave me like 6 extra Bernards. So I brought the 6 extra Bernards down to Pearl River last Wednesday before I went to the Mets game.
Okay, nice.
So yeah. And everyone's actually been selling pretty well. But Bernards was hat tip to Bernard, first one to sell out of them.
Oh, hot stuff. Wait, hold on. Let me make this big for a second. There you go. Show off. Yes.
Bernard, I did an interview with the Chelsea community thing, and they were just the interviewer. His name's Scott. He could not stop laughing over your drawing. He was like, "Am I looking at this correct? Are all the servers thumbs in the food?"
Yeah, that's how they serve. You want this? You get a little bit of thumb.
So, like, everyone that's seen Bernard's piece has been like giggling in a good way. I mean, it's been pretty awesome.
That's awesome. I love that. But yeah, we don't want to keep you waiting for Walt waiting.
All right, guys. So I'm sorry. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Bye.
Now you guys have to give me a minute to figure out how to leave.
Oh.
Not an hour later.
I'm gonna leave you on here and
Well-
we can watch you struggle as you're trying to leave.
I got it. Okay. Thanks
I
for
hope
having me
this
on.
is the
Nice meeting everyone. Bernard, Sean, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye, Gary.
Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays. There we go. He made it. And if you guys just noticed, I used him as our thumbnail. Boom. Look at him there. All up in his full glory.
That was an excellent exit.
It was a good one. Oh no, I can't move my stream back up. What happened? Oh, there's Bernard. What's up, Bernard? Hold on. I don't know what happened. My stream has just decided to not let me do anything. What's going on? My streamer is acting weird today. Okay, I put it in this view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. Okay, I should be able to drag people over from here. Hang on. What I want to do is I want to go and open up the article that he was just talking about and show off some of the art pieces that you guys have here. We could do that real quick. We could show that over. While I'm pulling that up, you gonna talk about any other things that you have going on? Oh, is it this one?
Yeah, upcoming projects for both of you.
From China. Hang on 1 second. I'm trying to find. There's too many. I have too many things open. There we go.
Actually, I have a book coming out in the Conan number 9. This comes out in June.
Ooh.
So my story is actually not a Conan story. I think they're bringing Kull into the universe for the first time.
Oh, no way.
So I drew like a 9-page story there, and it was written by Fabian Nicieza.
Ooh, he was just at Motor City. Nice.
Yeah, so I did. I mean, like Jerry, I did it a long time ago, and then it's just coming out now. I think there's a little bit of disruption with, I think Diamond was their distributor, so there's a lot of craziness, but it should come out next month. So.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Wow. Two
Love
Conans. To look
Also,
forward to.
my batteries could cut out at any time, so if it does, I just might disappear.
Okay.
Sean had a phone call to Barry Windsor Smith, so gotta tuck him in.
What about you, Bernard? You got anything else happening in the world? You always got something going on.
Power Man Timeless with Marvel is wrapping up this month, I think. And I'm starting another project at Marvel, but I can't talk about it. It should be coming out maybe in the fall.
Ooh, okay.
It's pretty. I mean, it's the first time I'm going to be drawing this character. Sean's drawn this character a couple of times.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's the first time. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's going to be ongoing, and
Nice.
I think, and
It's a solo character or a team character?
I mean, solo.
Could be both.
Okay, nice.
Solo, but there's supporting characters, and they have powers that you like.
Yeah. All the powers.
You mentioned, Bernard, that you're going to Japan. Is that for work or for just vacation?
It's my birthday next week, so I'm going for vacation.
Nice.
Tokyo
or
so if you have any advice, I'm going to Tokyo first, and then I wanted to go to the Yamazaki distillery because I like whiskey, but the Yamazaki distillery is extremely difficult to get a reservation. So I was able to get a reservation at the Hakushu distillery, which is about a couple hours outside of Tokyo. And then afterwards, we're going to go to Niigata or Nagata.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, just last night we're figuring out should we stop in Nagano or stop in another part on the way up, and the train system. Now we're just going to go to Nagata because they have a really popular sake rice and sushi. So
that's right.
Because they're right on the western coast of Japan. I've never been to the western coast. I mean, I've been to Japan a few times. I've been to Tokyo and Osaka.
Yeah.
So this time I figure like, I want to do something different, right? And explore a different part of the country. So any advice on that area or region? I wanted to go. There was a monkey
Yeah,
park.
I mean, I've never been to Niigata, but I hear the rice there is, like tops but happy birthday. Yeah. You're going to have a fantastic birthday over there. It's always
Thanks.
Yeah.
a fun.
Like I wanted to stop at Nagano because they have the monkey onsen, the monkey park.
Oh yeah.
And to go watch like the macaques, the local macaques. But you have to, but it's like, what was it like it was a little bit out, and then you have to walk another 45 minutes, 30 some, because it's a reserve and they're separate from civilization. And they come down into the onsen and jump into the hot tubs, and then
they're like people just chilling.
yeah. But then that's out of the. I think we're not going to do that. So now we're just going to go to Niigata and hang around there.
Awesome.
So.
Amazing. I love that. All right.
And then the last night we flew to Osaka and spent the night in Osaka to hang out with some people I know there, and then back.
And then back. Yeah, Osaka's it's fun. It's a fun city. Yeah, you'll have fun there.
Yeah, because last time I was in Osaka, I had the runs, so I couldn't really go out.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had to wear a diaper at a show, at a convention.
Oh man,
an adult diaper. I mean, getting the adult diaper was a whole experience in itself. Because I'm like using my app, but I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I was like trying to explain to the clerk adult diaper, poop. They're like, oh, we don't, no. I'm like, yes, no to the poop. Okay, no.
Some of the best stories I've ever heard in my entire life. But yeah, I do want to show off the artwork that you have. Yeah, I'm just with that. Ha ha ha. Yeah, laughing. I do want to show off some of the artwork that you have for the show here. This is Sean's piece here. It's so good. Here, let me open this.
Wow.
There we go. Look, it's so cute. I love that you put the chicken in there.
Yeah, I mean
That's awesome.
that location used to be all like fighting games, and used to bring like gang people from all over.
Oh wow!
And they used to have tournaments there. That was back in the old days, but then now it's all like all these like it's a family place now. But it still has like if you look at the walls and then the ceiling, it's it has all this like graffiti all over the place, so it looks real badass. But then it has like a Dance Revolution machine there, and a lot of tourists come and use it.
Nice.
Is there a digital art or is there a?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Is there a digital art or?
Oh no, I draw traditionally. So all that perspective is still figured out. Just with a vanishing point and ruler. So and all the black ink lines are India ink and drawing pens, and then the coloring though is digital. And I usually don't color, so this is kind of new for me. And for a first coloring job, it's a little bit bizarre in terms of a color scheme because it's it doesn't really stick to reality that much. It's a very bright and saturated colors.
Yeah, very very arcade. You think you nailed that vibe?
Yeah.
I want to ask you about that. The Savage Conan #9. Is that gonna be in black and white or is it gonna be color?
Yeah, that is in black and white. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I really enjoy black and white art. So
and those things I draw primarily superhero stuff and with a little bit of a slant towards sci-fi and technology. So this project was a little bit weird, and then the Cull project was even weirder because I gotta draw like horse and carriage and things like that. I'm used to drawing spaceships and robots. So with this, I think Jerry had me draw this scene because it has like a lot of like machines and stuff. Then, it just
all these little Easter eggs in there too.
I see the little Easter eggs in there too. Yeah, there's K-pop on there. Oh, have you ever seen the K-pop idol dance machines? Those are fun. You get to build your own lady, and then like the more you win, the more you can unlock different outfits and stuff. But yeah, those are a huge hit. Those are fun.
Oh wow,
guys
you
see
made
that?
a Sean's page, K-pop.
Yeah, I do like you got the Super Mario over there, but you also have Luffy just chilling there.
Yeah, it's like try to make it fun for myself by just putting.
Yeah.
And I figure like this is one image. If you have like one, not a whole comic book, but one image, you got to give someone a reason to look at it. So kind of
Yeah.
like what Bernard does, that you can actually look at Bernard's piece
Chicken.
and get lost in it for a long time. So it's like the
Yeah.
last, it's like the Last Supper. You can just kind of look at it and see lots of meaning into it.
Little mouse guy. He's so cute.
Nice.
And let's see who's next up here. Let's see who is this? Oh, Howard Ma. Very cool. I
Yeah,
love the
Reverend
graffiti
Howard.
style, like the traditional bits, like also how he makes it very much realistic. It's very cool.
Wow.
Yeah, Howard is an architect, interior designer by trade.
Wow.
He likes, but
Oh,
you know,
no.
he's also a comic book artist.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
Be quiet, monkey. Be quiet, monkey.
Yeah, I like how you see that he says, "Be quiet, monkey."
Yeah, so because the guy on the monkey is trying to give the guys advice.
Yeah.
They're playing Chinese chess, and then you know, the guy on the left in the traditional Chinese outfit, he's like, you know, you shouldn't say anything while we're playing, kind of.
Oh, that's great.
What,
I like
what are those flags mean? Those flag on the back.
You got me.
Okay.
I can't read Chinese.
I forgot what those were, but they're definitely.
It says left and right.
That's exactly
Columbus
what.
Park. Is it a subway? Is it a subway?
No, it's a Columbus Park in Chinatown. So
Okay.
there's like a, I don't know, was that an old subway station?
It kind of
Columbus
like
Park
old,
is like
metro
a small
subway.
municipal park in Chinatown. It's next to New York City Hall.
Mhm.
Oh, very cool. I like that. I like this piece. I do like the mix. That's kind of like realistic-y, but also it's got the lovely bits of like the anime kind of stuff. It's really good. Let's see who is up next. We got Cliff Chang. Ooh, I love the
Nice.
colors in this.
Up key.
Yeah, Cliff was the last minute. He was the last one to join, but Cliff, he's a big fan of Hop Key. I mean, if you go onto his Instagram page, the profile pic is the sign. Right? Is that right, Sean?
Nice.
Yeah, he has a great color palette too. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't really. I guess it's that magic hour that a lot of the Disney movies are filmed in, where the sky just turns like it's on fire. But yeah, I think his work really is really popular. I saw a lot of people buying this one, and there's something about the way he designs things and his color palette. It's just very very popular.
The colors are fantastic, but I also love too, like he kind of given a more modernized look as well. He's got the sneaks on. He's got like the cargo
Hoodies
shorts
on,
with the hoodie, the
backpack.
Yeah.
backpack.
So
Yeah.
I think that's like that's his take on Jerry's Monkey King.
Oh, yeah. That one right there. This is the Jin
Yeah.
Chung cover, but yeah, I
Cool.
love the way that he did like the urban kind of take on it, which is very neat. You don't really see that too often, but it's very cool. It's got like a hip hop like flavor to it. I really
Right.
like it.
Mhm.
It kind of reminds me of Wolverine too at the same time.
Oh, with the
You got good calves.
sideburns.
Sideburn and
Oh, it's really pretty. I really like the coloring on that. Let's see here. Oh, this is the basketball one. Who did this one again?
That's
Oh,
Jerome.
Jerome. Oh, it's so cool. It's black.
love
Oh,
it.
I
Oh,
love the
nice.
traditional black and white on it.
Wow.
Of course,
Yeah.
you would try to dunk it.
I love that they're trying to yank him down there too. That's awesome.
No, where's the tongue? Where's the tongue?
Yeah. That is
He's
so
got
cool.
the-
I love that.
He's got the motif on the uniform with the jersey and the shorts.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
awesome.
Jerome is Filipino, but he grew up in Taiwan when he was young.
Interesting.
Oh, really? Wow.
Hey, Kyle.
And
what's up?
the cloud forming behind. You don't have
Yeah,
the
he's jumping
shoes.
on the clouds to get
Yeah.
Yeah.
elevation.
Totally cheating.
Totally cheating. He is all about cheating, though. He's all about
He's
cheating.
very mischievous. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
makes
it's all
him
about
unique.
winning by
Yeah,
any means.
I love that. And then we have Kimberly. Oh, how cute!
Hmm.
It's
Oh, this
that's
reminds me
so
of
cute.
that Japanese. What's that Japanese animation movie?
Kind of Ghibli, yeah, Studio Ghibli, a little bit, but it's also got oh, what is that name? Yeah, there's another vibe that I get from it too, but it's adorable. Another one, very good use of colors. I love this like pastellies, very pretty.
Yeah, she told me that she actually went down to visit the site, kind of like I did, just to kind of do a more authentic piece. So
Yeah,
uh,
I love the sunset or in the background, like the orangey yellows coming through, and I love the cat just looking at the crab just chilling there. He's trying to escape. He caught him. That's so
she won.
pretty.
That is pretty.
Yeah, is that a what was it say, two different frame right there, or
It looks
Yeah.
okay. So yes, it looks like this is a zoom in of what they're looking at right here. So he's kind of looking down over here, and this is what they're looking at, the fish market. Very cool. I love all this. And then let's see here. We have
oh, there's the
Jerry.
subway.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
there's the
Jerry.
subway. Okay, Canal Street.
So he also did the same thing where it was kind of like continuation of the characters that he had in the book. Oh my God, the
Pizza.
pizza rat. He got the horse back there racing the train. Oh, come on, that's awesome. That's funny. Like, is this just his cat just chilling there? Yeah, but you can see a lot of the
That
characters that are
is
from
so
the
cool.
Monkey King book. But oh my gosh, that's cool. I love that you added the graffiti on there. Oh yeah, I love that the river of the fish down here. It looks like that's what they ride the train on. Oh, there, that's awesome. Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. Oh, he did a great job on that. That's so good. But yeah, I love his unique style. It's like the watercolor, but like the thin line. It's very cool. It's very very expressive the way he does his art.
This is very competitive. I just feel like, it's like
Yeah.
everybody's trying to one up each other.
Yeah, and here goes Bernard's piece. Oh man, you went full
Wow.
on just feast mode with all these characters. Look at that horse. Oh, that's
Nice.
great. I like these people are just like, oh, are you leaving yet?
Does he have an insanity shirt on? Does he have an insanity shirt?
Oh, he has a John Starks jersey on.
Okay.
Oh,
But that's
nice.
Jerry's favorite Knicks player. I guess I should have done
Oh.
Jeremy.
I love the face that he's got. It's very, very comedic. I love it.
Was he 7? Was he 7? I think he was 7.
17. But
17.
I thought that John Stark's character, that he was also kind of a, castaway player that Pat Riley picked up and really kind of over exceeded his initial kind of expectation or projections as a player.
Mhm.
And how he, had that big slam dunk against on Jordan and Pippen.
Yeah.
That was kind of like fitting for a character where, I mean, I guess Jeremy could fit too in that sense. But since this was Jerry's show, I thought I'd put Jerry's favorite player on there.
Aw, oh,
George
nice.
Starks. Yeah, Starks is a great player.
I love these
You know,
little mini dudes just running around, just like causing chaos, stealing all the food.
Yeah, so those are like the mini kind of chibi clones.
Yeah.
The Monkey King has
Uh-huh.
72 transformations. They have multiple powers. One of them is to pluck his hair and blows on it, and that's how he gets certain powers. And one is to clone himself, but this version is that he's cloning little cartoon versions of himself, and so those guys are kind of running around creating havoc. Right, there's one guy that's kind of drunk.
Yeah.
There's a gourd, the red gourd. So Pigsy, traditionally Pigsy, actually in the original Journey to the West, he's a black boar. But in contemporary versions, people have used like kind of like a pink pig, right? Because that's what we're used to.
Yeah.
but in the old original version, he's actually, has a black hair, black skin. Um, so and then, but he's also like, so this version is they haven't reached India yet. They kind of made a pit stop. You figure they really went east and then go back west. And so they're still part of their original character. Pigsy is very much about gluttony. Is about overindulgence. So he would have a gourd with alcohol in it, but the two Monkey King clones, and one's holding the little sake glass, little tea glass. The other one's already kind of drunk from the having sipped in it. Some of the other ones are inside of the food. They've already eaten. They've helped themselves to some of
Yeah.
the dim sum.
That's so cute.
Oh, you're making me want dim sum now.
Oh, I know. I'm
Yeah,
looking at all
the
this. I'm
ladies.
so
So
hungry.
if you can
Yeah.
find your favorite dish in there, that's cool too. Did we lose Sean?
I think his battery
Oh,
must
he
have
might
died.
have.
Oh.
His battery must have died. Yeah. Let's see. Dr. Midnight had a bounce or is about to bounce, but yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. I always love seeing people come back to the chat. It's lovely.
This
But
does remind me of Spirited Away.
yes.
The Spirited Away.
Yeah. The lady in the top right looking at everyone like they are immature children. Yes. Very, very judging all these people. She's like, get out of here.
Well,
That's
again, if you
so
go
cute.
if you go to a dim sum hall, most of the dim sum halls now, they don't have the push carts. That used to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Now, like in LA, there's only a few left with the push carts. Most of the other ones, even the big ones, you order and then they'll bring it out.
Yeah.
It was always fun as a kid going to watch the push carts because you're like, oh, what's underneath there?
Yeah.
What's underneath there? But then if you don't know and you're asking them if they can lift the lid to show you what's, they get pissed off. They're like,
Yeah.
just order what you
Just
want.
eat it.
Like, oh, I don't know what it is. So the
Gotta
old
browse.
ladies, if they're not like angry at you, then it's not an authentic place.
Oh, it's so cute. I love it. It's very whimsical, very, very comical. I love these little dudes. Like he's just stealing all the buns and then I like the horse just having a good time. Yeah, the
That's
employees just look like they just want to get out of there. They're like, let's go.
Yeah,
And
like the
here's
horse always gets left out, but
yeah.
put him in. So he's like super happy that he gets to sit at the table. Usually he's outside in the street. So
That is awesome.
And this is like the kind of like the art gallery that you guys have up with all the art pieces on it.
Are these prints going to be available for like on a store somewhere or?
Yes.
yeah,
at
the Chelsea Market.
At the Chelsea Market, but you can also, I think it says on one of the pages, email somebody and you could purchase them. You could get framed and unframed, but I believe the framed ones are only at the market. Oh, we got Ryan in the chat. What's up, Ryan?
Ryan.
Let's see. Good to see you at the comic store the other week. Yeah, I must have run into you at the comic shop. Nice. Love that.
Oh, that's right. Yes, Ryan at the Comics Factory. Last day they were closing.
Yeah.
Saw Ryan in line. It's sad to see the store close. It's a store that's been in Pasadena, California for a very long time. And, it was a couple weeks ago, they had their final day.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
This is cool. And this is where the art pieces are displayed at the market. This is where they're at?
Yeah, so the Chelsea Market, if you guys have been to New York City, it's Lower East Side, not Lower East Side, Lower West Side, the 23rd Street, around that area. It's a kind of rejuvenated retail space. There's a lot of restaurants, shops, little places to go.
Very
There's
cool.
also out next to it is a big Starbucks. What do they call that?
Nice.
One of those flagship Starbucks places where
Okay.
you can, get alcohol and
Wow.
especially infused coffee beans there.
Nice.
But the Chelsea Market itself is a fun place. I went there for the first time. They have little shops that are kind of mom and pop places, or small businesses, restaurants, bars, and they have a Pearl River there. And so it's indoors and outdoors, but the indoor area they have along there these tables. So these art prints. These art kind of table coverings are going to be there until August. So
Nice.
it's pretty cool if you just happen to stop by. sit there, spill
Very
some
cool.
food on.
They look really nice too. I like that they have the
Yeah.
QR code and the artist, so you can go
Yeah.
follow the artist right on the table. That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, look, there's Sean.
Nice.
Those are big prints too. That the way that they have these displayed, they're
Yeah.
Oh,
huge.
yeah. So those are the big banners. They made a few big
Yeah.
banners. Our buddy Mike upstate helped print these out. Sean went to pick them up, and he helped Jerry out to set them up.
Oh,
So these
fun.
are inside in the mall area.
Very cool.
So cool.
This just seems like a really fun event because I've seen a lot of there's Jerry. I've seen a lot of the events post a lot of the photos too, but it looks like a really nice just like area too. And the market, holy crap, the market just that made me hungry just looking at the market photos because holy crap, it was delicious.
Oh, there's a bunch of different places there, like all different kinds of
Yeah.
foods too. There's even a tahini shop
Ooh.
across which is like an
Mm.
Ethiopian sesame paste dessert.
Mm.
It's really good.
I love tahini.
Although it's called something else in Middle East, not tahini, but something else. But it's like a paste. You think it looks like it's like a custard or pudding, but
Yeah.
it's actually very dry, like like powdery. But its consistency is like very like thick blocks, or like ice cream.
See, and then there's a couple other artists that I didn't see from that one on there. It was like Suli had a piece. Somebody
So they
else
did a
was
punk
it?
rock.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the picture of that. Let me see if I can find it. 'Cause I
And
have a
so
bunch
Pearl
of
River, they have two shops. They have one shop here in the Chelsea Market, and then the other shop where the exhibit was, the opening exhibit, is kind of in Soho / Chinatown adjacent. Just on the borderline of Chinatown.
yeah. Let me see if I can pull up Suli's because I don't see it on there, but I'm gonna see if I can just pull it up real quick. Is it this one? Yes. So this one is Suli's art. That's awesome. I love the punk rock.
Oh, nice.
That is cool.
Badass.
Let me see if I could just blow this up a little bit because man, that piece looks so cool. I love that she gave him piercings. She's got the gnarly jacket on. That's awesome. I love the different takes on that. But yeah, she's such a good artist. I remember finding her on Twitch too a long time ago, just watching her draw. Good times. But this is really cool. And let me see if I can find which one of the articles it has it. But if you want to, oh, here. Framed and unframed purchases. Looks like you could only get some in the in-store, but if you want to, you can also email. It looks like Angela here. I'll put this down in the chat too if you want any of these prints as well. Here, let me post this down here. Right there. Looks like framed prints are 88. You have to email Angela. And if you want unframed, 30, but they're only available in some of those Soho locations, according to that site. But yeah, go ahead and get them.
They also have like a lot of snacks there, like Asian
Yeah.
snacks. I got a lamp, like a big,
Ooh.
like a round light bulb thing that I hang over my foyer at home when
Ooh.
you first come in. And it's made out of like paper and bamboo, and it's like a big,
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Here, let
So they
me-
sell a bunch of stuff there, like knickknacks, clothing. They have some of Jerry's shirts, the Jayo shirts or the Shisha shirts.
Yes.
They
I
have
know. I love that
those there.
Godzilla shirt.
And
I wanted the
so,
Bruce
yeah.
Lee shirt. He needs to get back into doing shirts. We were talking about that earlier. He made some really good shirts.
No, I
love
mean
his-
Jerry, when he first started going out to comic book conventions, San Diego, New York Comic Con, he was known for his T-shirts, and now he complains that it's just too much stuff to carry. So it's true. I mean, the amount of inventory they have to ship out or bring out to these shows, especially T-shirts, boxes, all these different sizes. It does get, and then storage, in between shows, you have to keep some of the inventory somewhere. So it does get cumbersome.
Yeah, I bet that's gonna be a lot of work. I've helped people set up and take stuff down. I think taking stuff down after a long weekend, that's rough. You gotta get that out of there before they start yelling at you, kicking you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at these bigger
Wow.
shows with San Diego and New York, they have unions, so your setup time is like regulated. You can only bring, especially if you have a booth. I used to handle the San Diego Comic Con Sean Chen, Tommy Lee Edwards, John Paul Leon, and Trevor Goring and I. We used to have a booth there, but because I lived in LA, I would be responsible for setting it up, and they could just fly in and show up.
Yeah.
And it was a pain in the ass. You know, the show started on Wednesday afternoon, but I had to get there Tuesday, and you know, within a set out number of hours, you have to make an appointment to go drive in the back, and then you have to put it on a pallet, and then they would bring all the stuff inside the show for you, and then you could then
Set it
unwrap
up.
it and then
Yeah.
set it up. So and then afterwards you have to break everything down and then carry it out, and it was just a lot of work. So
Yeah. Southern's in the
thanks,
chat.
Southern Beach.
Huge fan of Valiant as well. Him and Carl do a really cool show every time when they go and talk about their Valiant work, and they have a lot of really good art collections. But he loves your Dr. Mirage work.
Nice. He has his own logo too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he used to host a lot of comic auctions way back in the day, but he makes his own content. Really huge art fan, but he's also with Carl Choi. They do a lot of content together. Yes. Rest in peace to John Paul. Yeah. That was a rough time. Let's see. Now I'm not talking. Do you have any other questions that you want to ask?
Oh no, actually, I have to go myself.
Yeah, because we'll be cutting it probably soon. Anyways, we've been on a long time, and Sean and Jerry already left, and you probably need to go get some lunch or something.
Sean has the ultimate excuse. Oh, my battery's gonna, and what kind of battery? You plug it into your computer, oh, my battery's gotta go. Whoops.
Yeah. Oh, bounced on out of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll make you big for a hot second. When do you expect to come back to the States? How long have you been gone for? A couple months?
I'll be back soon.
Oh, okay.
It's very humid here, so but I just had a project I had to work on, and then I'll be back soon. So just Japan next week, and then that's it. So
Oh, okay. So then you resume streams afterwards when you get back?
yeah. So well, I should be back in Taiwan after the Japan trip, but for the following week. But I think the setup is working out okay. And then I did have to get like a medical procedure on my shoulder because drawing comics is not just fun and games. I have a torn rotator cuff.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
All these years.
That's painful. Yeah, that takes a lot out of you. Yeah, your hands too.
My hands, my drawing hand does get kind of numb. It's a little swollen at times. My elbow is a little bit wonky. But the shoulder for the longest time, I had when I was back here in February, I had a PRP shot. It was just the next procedure. The PRP is where they draw out your own blood and they spin it in a centrifuge, which then gets down to the platelet-rich material from like a big vial, and then they re-inject that into the injured area. So it's like your own body healing itself, highly concentrated.
Wow.
And it did help the first time, but you're going to need a couple of injections.
Keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So
please take care of it. Get
some
rest.
Well, I did have a question for Sean before we leave, but maybe you know the answer. The Evermind, was it Evermind?
Yes.
He's the second one.
So for the campaign, it was issues 1 through 3. They were black and white and color, and then by the end of the year, they'll have the campaign up for 4 through 6. The pre-launch page isn't up yet, but the moment it gets posted, I'll let you know.
Okay, so the 1 to 3 books going to be available too at that time, or
it should be a catch-up here because you can still buy them on their website at 247 Comics.
So the first 3 issues is already up, finished. The campaign, and I do think it's available. I don't know how much. I mean, Sean tells me a little bit about what's going on. But if you say it's on the website, then it's on the website. And I didn't say that. K-pop said it. And then I do know he's fast working on the last 3 issues, or the continuation of the story, because it ends on a cliffhanger, number 3. And that should be out. I think the campaign should be out shortly. And then when he's done with it, it'll probably be, somewhere towards the end of the year. So
cool.
Yeah, it's an exciting story.
It is. I really like the art in there, and I picked up
You like the
both
art.
copies, and I got the artist editions, and I really love seeing just the black and white line work. He does some amazing line work. It's so good.
Yeah, and Sean's still drawing everything traditionally, so
Yeah.
he's it's tough to get him to do anything new. I've been trying to get him to draw on the iPad, and
Yeah.
he's like, iPad, no. Um, like most of my stuff now, half and half or 3/4 digital, and then a quarter of the stuff is still traditional. And when you do switch back and forth, it does give there's a little bit of a learning curve back and forth. Drawing digital is a little bit faster, especially when I'm traveling. All I have to do is just bring my iPad with me, so I just have to carry this thing, and that's pretty much my whole studio. We'll have two of them. So
Yeah.
one is I have up front where I have all my reference material, and the other one I'm drawing on. Whereas before I have to bring all this paper and pad, scanner.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff. So it's a whole other suitcase of just equipment.
Material. Yeah.
Yeah, and then here in Taiwan it's very humid, so drawing on paper it's a whole other experience.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your paper's got to work too, depending on how humid it is. Especially if you're working
Right.
watercolor, that's
Yeah.
got to kind of mess that all up too.
It affects the consistency of the paper. I like
Yeah.
the smooth plate, but it still gets very moist, and I erase a lot. So I'm drawing in pencil, and even with that, the marks, the streaks from the lead, it still creates divots, and so it just makes it different. Like all last week, the AC was broken in
Oh
the
no.
apartment. And so it was just like, oh, I had to go to the library to work. Luckily, the library is like across the street for me.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
but just like in the house, it was like, oh, it was horrible. So, but it's fixed
Yeah.
now, so everything's fine. But
Uh,
I live in an area called Beito, which is it's known for its hot springs in Taipei. So there's
Ooh.
only a couple different, Japan has a very big onsen hot spring culture, and so there's actually a lot of they have two festivals a year, and last year they had like a big thing where the Japanese onsen came here, these groups. And they had a big festival because there's like apparently there's a couple different kinds of hot spring water, and there's only like two places. There's one that's only in two places in the world, one in Japan and then one here in Beito. So there's
Ooh.
like a connection between the two. And during the occupational years, when Japan had occupied Taiwan, Beito was a big kind of a Japanese neighborhood because of the onsens.
Yeah.
And so you can go there, and they have actually public onsen.
Yeah.
You can go and put your feet in and water your hands in there. It's very rejuvenating. But the only bad thing about that is the sulfuric content in the air is not great for electronics.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh.
especially with like air conditioning units that are exposed on the outside, they tend to deteriorate at a faster rate.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And also like electronics in the house, it's not like great.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the natural hot springs are always like, it's therapeutic, right? That's the one.
And actually in Beito, in the district here, I think almost every apartment has a hot spring tub
Nice
in it. Like we have
Ooh.
it's a fairly small apartment, but we have like a tub that gets like hot spring water in it.
Oh wow.
So the other day I was just soaking in it.
Wow,
Like, yeah, it's it smells a little sulfuric. I mean, so it's it's a weird thing. It's not just like hot water.
That's good
But
stuff.
it is very refreshing. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
And then all the hotels, it's kind of a touristy area because there's a lot of onsen hotels. So you get a hotel room, or you can just go into a hot spring area. Like like a men's section and a women's section, and just walking around with your junk out, and then you go into different hot tubs and stuff. It's nice. Yeah, in Korea they have the what is it, the ginger bus,
The-
which is
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know those are actually culturally here. It's like a big family thing. You know, you have like three sections, like a men's section, men's only,
Yep.
and then a women's only section, and then in the middle you have like a family section.
Family section. Yeah.
Yeah, where like people will bring their kids, you know,
Yeah.
and then you can eat there, and hang out there, you know.
Yeah. They got the
spend the
cold
whole
room.
day.
They got the hot room.
Yeah, in different rooms. So you have a steam room, a clay room, a stone room.
Ooh. Yeah.
You know, you jump in and out. You go jump in the hot tub, and then the hot spring tub, and then you jump into a cold tub. So like freeze up, and then you go back out. You know, so spend the whole day there. Yeah.
Fun
Yeah, you,
times.
yeah, you could spend the whole day there. I mean, it's a day
Oh.
event.
Just sweating.
Sounds like
I
a
don't know where
great
you're
day
at.
to
Like
me.
in LA, they have quite a few ginger bars. You know, in Koreatown.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, different ones at different sizes. Some are men only, some are women only, some are, you know, you can mix match. And the men's and women's, I mean, you have to be all nude. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's all nude.
Yeah.
But in
Let me
the
hear butts.
area, then they give you like a uniform. They give you like a t-shirt and shorts that you wear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
pajamas,
everybody's
right?
wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a couple of them. I live in DC area. We have a couple of them, but they come and go. They come and go. I don't know why they seem to keep it open for long.
Oh.
I'll post the
Yeah, and then
links
you can
here.
get like a scrub. You know, you can get like a guy to scrub you down with like a sponge,
Oh.
like a coarse sponge.
Hey,
You know.
Yeah,
sounds like a good. That sounds like such a relaxing time. Like you just spend a whole day there and just get all that stuff done, especially.
Yeah,
with
I did
family.
that when I went to Morocco. Like a lot of other cultures have that. When I went to Morocco, I went to a thing where they give, I forgot the name of it, but it's like a, you know, a hot, you know, like a steam room, and then you go and there'll be a guy that will take like a coarse sponge and like scrape, you know, all the dead skin off.
Oh, they go in hard too. They scrub you like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like lying on a wet, like a stone table, a bed, and then it's like just going to town.
It's painful, but you feel so good afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards. So it's always fun, like when you go to a different culture, a different place to try
Yeah.
experience their culture, and sometimes you see the how similar everyone is, and then also how dissimilar some places are a little bit.
Mhm.
You know, I was
Yeah.
just in China a couple weeks ago, and like it's all EV now in China, at least in Guangzhou. I would say 90 to 95% of the vehicles are electric vehicles,
Yeah.
and the scooters are 95 to 98%
Wow.
all electric.
Wow.
Wow.
So you don't hear anything. You know, you
nice.
see like the traffic, but there's no. I mean, you hear the horns a little bit, bah, 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 but you don't hear the. You know, you don't hear the engines. It's completely quiet.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's a little bit of a different. Took a couple days to get used to, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow,
how just everything's
living in the
electric
future.
vehicles.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then coming to Taiwan now, or even in the U.S., I mean, it's mostly gas cars, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you hear the you know, cars going by. It's a little different.
Excuse me.
You kind of wonder, like, oh, what is society going to be like in the future?
Mhm.
You know, EVs, obviously, it's adopted over there now. I mean, it's a government mandate. So, but will it ever make it to the U.S. To the degree that it is over there?
Yeah.
Um, and it's because I'd asked everybody, oh, how do you like driving an EV? You know, and they're like, oh, it's okay. You know, the charging time is varies depending on the battery of the car you get. But it's nice. You know,
I think we'll see EV adopted widely in Europe before we ever see it widely adopted here in the US. But I don't know. We'll see. Politically, it seems like it was on and now it's kind of off again now. So
in California, I know there's going to be like till 2035. But I read recently that they're trying to take that down, or
yeah, they're probably walking that back now.
Yeah, but it is interesting. to be in a different place where it's still fairly modern. I mean, there are aspects where the scooter riders, they're still they're zipping any which way. They're not really following the traffic direction.
Yeah.
But just that the amount of
Noise pollution. Yeah.
noise pollution.
Noise
So when you're
is
walking around a
crazy.
major city,
Crazy.
it's actually very peaceful.
Yeah.
Even
That's
though
good.
there's all this stuff still
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
The audio component
Yeah.
does create a different sensory experience.
It's
Hmm.
interesting.
So
Thank you for
and you
sharing
hear
that.
people
Wow,
more.
that's
cool.
weird. It just shows you how much faster Asia's progressing, with adopting some of these urban planning measures. It's just the U.S. is kind of stuck, it seems like, in the past, and places in Asia are just so, adapting at a much faster rate. So
Yeah, and the taxi driver said that this was about 2 or 3 years ago that they were mandated to only purchase electric vehicles. There's still gas cars. There's still regular gas cars there, and you can still have one.
Yeah.
But I think there is a huge push. But so I would say 90% of the vehicles on the street were electric
Wow.
vehicles.
Right.
Probably a lot cheaper to electric, right? I mean,
Yeah. We have several of them downtown where like the electric ones where you get in they're taxis and they'll just drive around a couple of the blocks and then just pick people up and drop people off. But I'm seeing more and more of that around like the main city areas here.
You mean the Waymos, like the automatic?
Yeah, they're automatic. They just drive you around. You program it in their laptop like where you want to go, and they just drop you off wherever the location is.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just not saying one is better than the other, although
Yeah.
there's different experiences, and
Yeah.
I think there's probably also pitfalls with all this EV consumption with the materials and the just
Battery. Yeah.
needed to because also everybody's on their phone. Everybody's on their phone,
Yeah.
and they're walking around the streets. The driver was like, "Come on,
Oh wow.
you're driving." But and everywhere you go, there were these portable chargers. That you could just go and scan your phone and then rent a portable charger. And then you don't have to stay there because there's another portable charger every other block, every block. So you just once you walk and then once you're done charging, you put it back in somewhere else. So the charging of your phones is extremely convenient. Whereas in the States, you have to
working on the drone taxi. Are they working on drone taxi?
I think they're working on drone deliveries. I saw something where there are delivery stations located in different parts of the city. You can order from that station, and then the drone will deliver your KFC to that.
That's crazy.
And then you just stay there. Like if you're in a park, there's a
Wow.
kiosk at the park, and I want KFC. So you go there, and then the drone will pick up the bag from the KFC, fly it over to the park, and then park in the little kiosk, and then you can shoot the door open, and then you.
And that's all automated.
Automated, yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's all on your phone. It's all on the phone.
Yeah.
So there's no human interaction in a sense.
And that's happening. It's not it's not.
Oh, it's right now. You can do that right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you pay, with your phone. You scan everywhere you go. So there is a convenience factor. I mean, I also thought about, if the government wants to shut you down and not allow you to buy anything, it's very easy to do that too.
Yeah.
But you still have cash. You can still use cash. But buying anything is just you scan your phone. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has a smartphone.
Right.
I didn't see anybody not use a smartphone.
Your lifeline now.
Yeah, and everybody, it's and the phones they're also they're folding. This is a little bit different. It's And then I have my phone here in Taiwan. I'm trying to get a Wi-Fi SIM eSIM, but because I have an AT&T contract, I can't unlock my phone. Or I could, but then I have I have to pay it off and I have to wait 60 days, and then I can then unlock it. And so it's like I used to have I forgot to bring my router, but when you travel, it's interesting. It's what you experience in the States versus any other country. There are similarities, but then you also notice where do countries are more favorable to the U.S. or have more favorable trade policies, and then so therefore you're able to access certain sites, websites that in some places you can't. So information. What are we getting information wise? It's interesting. Because what we take for granted in the States might not be the same somewhere else.
Gents, I gotta go.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Bernard. Thanks for sharing your
Yeah.
project and coming on during AAPI month. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. And
you're welcome.
you guys, I know you guys have been doing this for a while. I watch you guys, Otako, and not much. Sometimes you guys string together. I'm lurking in the background, and K-pop too. So thank you guys for doing what you do. Awareness and recognition to a wider audience is, immensely important, and especially in this information age. It's great to connect with people and to share.
Hey,
Yeah.
appreciate
Thank you.
your time. We will do so.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun meeting everybody and getting to know Otaku and Nam more over these last couple of years. I think I'm my third year helping out for this, and I really love doing what we do here, and it's fun. So hopefully it just keeps growing more and more every year.
Yeah,
and
I think more channels are getting involved. So
yeah, that's fun to see.
Yeah.
I like that some of our past guests come back too and they help co-host, which has been fun. Before we get out of here, because I know we've been on for a hot minute, and when you get back to the States, are you going to also go to the New York Comic Con? Do you have any other cons coming up?
I should be going to New York Comic Con. I know I'm scheduled to go to Tucson in August.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I signed with a new art rep, Fletch Chufong, with Fast.
Yeah.
Fletcher Sketch. And so we're in discussions with trying to book a few more shows for the year.
Nice.
And so we'll see what happens, so.
Perfect. Yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, thank you very much. And thanks for Jerry and Sean for coming on here too. It's always fun hanging with you guys. I always have a blast hanging your streams. I have all of your links down below. I have your stream links down below. I have your Twitch, Twitter, whatever, stores and everything. So yeah, go follow everybody. Go follow Nam Otaku. But yeah, I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna go heat up some pizza. Yeah. But let's get out of here. But yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for everybody that was hanging with us in the chat. Love seeing some of the Twitch guys drop by. That's always fun. But bye. I gotta see you guys. Oh, you're hungry too.